Hello and welcome back to Planet Real, the place for all things Real Madrid. So we finally had our first and only preseason friendly against WSG Tirol from the Austrian Bundesliga, and while it was a dominant win, played in a small but beautiful Austrian stadium, a lot of questions still remain. We are going to talk about what was actually seen from Xabi Alonso's new look team. Let's get it on with the video. Xabi Alonso's starting lineup was interesting, to say the least. We had Courtois in goal, with Militão and Huijsen as our central defenders, and Trent Alexander-Arnold and Carreras as our wingbacks. In midfield, it was Tchouaméni in the center, with Ceballos and Arda Güler on his sides. Vinicius Jr. and Brahim Diaz flanked Kylian Mbappé, who was the central attacker. The setup was incredibly dynamic, with players constantly exchanging positions. We saw Güler and Brahim trading places a lot, and the same was true for Vinicius and Mbappé. The team looked good, very offensive, and incredibly fast when recovering the ball. In fact, we saw the results early on. At the 10th minute, Militão scored with a header after a great cross from Brahim, and just 3 minutes later, Mbappé got his first goal of the match after a brilliant pass from Arda Güler. But let's be honest, Tirol was barely a threat. They had a few moments with long balls that could have hurt us, but they just weren't fast enough to make it count. Courtois had no work at all in the first half. In defense, Militão looked incredibly fit, which is a huge relief and a hopeful performance after his serious injuries. Huijsen was solid and very involved in the playmaking. Both of our wingbacks were also super active. In attack, the constant swapping of positions between Vinicius and Mbappé was very exciting, and Brahim looked sharp. So, who really impressed? Mbappé completed a round match and seemed more active than usual, but we still have to see him in a real match. My concerns remain his lack of intensity in the defensive phase of the game. Now, the player who truly stole the show for me was Arda Güler. He was constantly creating magnificent opportunities with his passing, and honestly, I cannot wait to see him develop this season. Tchouaméni was a rock in the midfield, and Ceballos did very well too. We missed Valverde, but the team gave him some rest after he suffered from muscle overload, and it was the right decision to be cautious. As the second half progressed, Xabi Alonso gradually substituted everyone to give the starters a rest. We saw Lunin, Alaba, Asensio, Rodrygo, Dani Carvajal, Fran Garcia, Rodrygo, Gonzalo Garcia, and the youngsters Daniel Yanez, Thiago Pitarch, and Roberto Martin get minutes. All of them seemed correct, and in particular, Gonzalo Garcia showed flashes of a bright future ahead. Lunin also had a good intervention in a one-on-one situation against a Tirol attacker, demonstrating that we have a top-class substitute keeper in him. And speaking of goals, Mbappé got his second of the night at the 59th minute, assisted by Tchouaméni, who was still on the pitch. And the final goal was scored by Rodrygo Goes at the 81st minute after receiving a pass from Mbappé. A special highlight is deserved by the fact that David Alaba was very well received by the crowd, which makes sense, since he's probably the best Austrian player of the past decade. Interestingly, it seems Xabi Alonso is considering Alaba more as a midfielder than a central defender, although he did drift between both roles at times, forming a three-man defensive line. The biggest takeaway for me was the tactical variance. The team's formation was dynamic and morphed as the game demanded it. At times, we played the usual 4-3-3, while other times we shifted into a 3-5-2 or even a 3-4-3. It seems this is one of Xabi Alonso's goals, to have a team capable of morphing as the match progresses. And I have to admit, Rodrygo played well in the second half, although he still looks a bit uncomfortable. There are huge rumors appearing as of Tuesday that Manchester City is preparing a €100 million offer for him. We'll just have to wait and see. So here's my question for you, Madridistas. What do you think about our preseason performance? Did anyone in particular impress you? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to be a part of the real conversation about our club, make sure you like this video and hit that subscribe button. See you next time, and Hala Madrid!